Well, hello and welcome along to Hong Kong Direct. It's a thoroughly exciting time of year currently in Hong Kong as far as horse racing is concerned. And on this week's show, we've got plenty upcoming for you. Let's take a look at what we've got on today's programme. We're going to look at some Hong Kong Derby clues and also take a look back at the recently run Classic Cup, of course, which most certainly could have thrown up a few Derby clues. And we're also going to hear from a horse that's been on his travels. Russian Emperor has made his way from Qatar to Dubai, and he'll be lining up on Super Saturday. But first, on this week's edition of Hong Kong Direct, we're going to take a look back at last week. Both the Hong Kong Gold Cup was run and won, and so too the Classic Cup, which provided a big win for trainer Chris So.
Golden 60 still a length away. Romantic Warrior leads Money Catcher. Slowly Golden 60's bridging the gap. Romantic Warrior, Golden 60, a neck to his outside. It's the two great horses of Hong Kong, but it's Golden 60, the greatest of Hong Kong. Golden 60 beat Romantic Warrior and Money Catcher.
You know, he is very relaxed today. I even have to ask him a little to keep up at the back straight. Of course, I just have to truck up another great horse to follow through and ask the full effort at the last 200. You know, so.
Were you always confident you were going to pick him up?
Yeah, I just have to stay close with him. You know, don't let him get away too far away.
And here is Super Sunny Singh. Sword Point still the leader. Super Sunny Singh's coming after him. Sword Point a neck. Super Sunny Singh's cutting him down. What a day, Vincent Ho. Big win, Chris So. Super Sunny Singh. He won the Classic Cup from Sword Point and Galaxy Witness.
I'm so happy, honestly. You know, that's what I told you before I ran second. And now it's 8 years ago and get a horse to win. Very happy. He should handle the further distance. But you know, let's see. You know, how's the pulls up, and I think the main thing is, you know, most important is make him happy and make him sound. We target to the Derby.
Well, certainly the stuff of dreams there for Vincent Ho. What a meeting it was for him, of course. Golden 60, superb, and a definite Derby clue, I think, with Super Sunny Singh winning the Classic Cup and a big race win there for Chris So. So many congratulations to him and his team. So he's certainly put his hand up as a Derby contender, but there are others, of course, and one horse that's charted a bit of a different path into the Blue Riband is Beauty Eternal. Now, this horse has really set the Hong Kong racing world alight. This is his win most recently over the mile, and it was, I think you'd agree, quite effortless. He's beaten some pretty smart horses in the process as well, and he's barely come out of second gear here under Zach Purton. Just pushed out to make sure. His trainer, John Size, knows what it takes to win a Derby through a less trodden path, shall we say, through the 4-year-old series. But this horse really does look the real deal, and he's got plenty of tongues wagging, I think, going into the 19th of March. Another horse who you might want to consider going into the Derby is Straight Aaron. Now, he's changed stables, this fellow. He's joined Casper Founds, and this was his win recently over 1,800 metres, race 4.52. He's clearly a horse who has got plenty of ability. He's a Group 3 winner in Australia over the mile, and once he had to just wait on a bit of a run, he's shown a ready turn of foot here to go and put the race to bed. Horses behind him, the likes of Nicholson Returns, who was coming into this race on the back of a couple of wins, clearly no mug. And the horse in behind him as well there, Snaffles, is a useful type at his best. So Straight Aaron looks a definite contender, I think, going forward over 2,000 metres. Should relish the extra distance. Now, this has always been a race for ratings. Now, as we take a look at the ratings going into the BMW Hong Kong Derby, there's no horse rated in triple figures, which is a little bit of a rarity. But Keithy heading them at 99. Beauty Eternal went up £10 for that win last time, off a 94. Super Sunny Singh off the same mark. Sword Point ran a huge race in defeat in the Classic Cup. He's off 89. And further down, Galaxy Witness. Might he go forward and step over a bit more ground? He's certainly doing a good job going up in trip, that horse. And further down the pecking order, Flagship Warrior there for David Hayes off 84. encountered. 83 for man who's having a good season. Straight Aaron 81, and further down, Le City Blanche Alacrity, next to horse running this weekend. Might well be able to enhance his Derby credentials going forward. But that all remains to be seen. But one man who can shed a bit more light on the Derby is Alan Aitken, and we can hear from Alan now regarding his take on the Derby coming up on March 19th.
Well, he's not just my pick, he's his own pick, Beauty Eternal. He picks himself to some extent because what we have seen from horses that are contenders for the Derby is they'll put in a good run and then maybe disappoint, whereas Beauty Eternal, he just keeps showing up. I think he'll switch off. He's shown no inclination to over-race, racing up to a mile, and if he draws a barrier, I think we'll have a hot favourite in the Derby.
Yes, that's Alan Aitken's view then on Beauty Eternal. Clearly a fan of his. All the build-up for that race coming up in the next few weeks, of course, the final leg of 3 as far as the 4-year-old series is concerned. Well, away from 4-year-olds, one horse that's been on his travels is a certain Russian Emperor, and he flew the flag extremely highly for Hong Kong in Qatar recently, winning the Amir Trophy. He's now headed across to Dubai, and he's trained by Douglas Whyte, of course. And earlier on this week, I managed to chat to Douglas and find out how his horse has settled in to life in the Emirates.
It's not only great for the stable, for me, it's great to represent Hong Kong. My first abroad overseas trip, and we managed to pull it off. He's a good horse on his day, and he was just stagnating, in my opinion, in Hong Kong. He needed to get away and freshen up mentally, and that's exactly what he did when he stepped foot off the plane in Qatar. He was a changed individual. He got that spark back into him, and it was just lovely to see.
For Hong Kong, a Russian Emperor now begins to surge down the wide outside. So too Warren Point. They're racing now on towards the final 100, and it is Bolt Hole taken on now by Hong Kong's Russian Emperor, and it will be Russian Emperor who wins.
You've flown in, Douglas, to obviously do the final piece of track work, etc., with the horse. On the grander scale, obviously you're a rider. When you were riding, you obviously rode abroad and you rode with success abroad. But how special was that for you to get that win in Qatar?
Probably one of the highlights of my whole career. I've ridden many winners abroad. I've travelled all over the world. But to do that as a trainer, as a jockey, you don't really honestly realise what goes into the preparation and the health and so forth with the horse and getting over there, let alone winning the race. So to pull it off and to get the horse right on the day, it was a big achievement from my part.
He clearly doesn't mind travelling, Douglas. Obviously, he's gone from Qatar to Dubai. Now it's only really a short hop and a skip, if you will. But how's the horse been since he's got to Dubai? Obviously, you're now there. You've had a sit on him. Does he feel as good as he did before Qatar?
Funny you say that, a short hop and a skip. It was everything but that. It wasn't the easiest trip. You know, they left the stable, the quarantine stable in Qatar at around 10:30, 11 at night, and by the time the flight took off was 2 o'clock in the morning. So it was all an upside down kind of a trip. It's like you and I leaving on those late flights, 2 a.m. in the morning. You know, you don't land here fresh, that's for sure. So the first 2 days when I got here, it had taken its toll. Well, the trip had taken its toll, put it that way, but I couldn't be happier with him from yesterday, today. He's picked up all the weight that he needed to. He put on a substantial amount from that point. He's bright. I gave him a little blowout this morning, and coming home, he almost threw me off. So he's got that zest and that spark back in him, and that's a good sign.
It sounds like Russian Emperor's in very good form. He does, of course, run in the Group 1 Jebel Hatter coming up on Super Saturday this coming weekend. So we certainly wish his connections very well indeed. Now, the diary, let's take a look at what's coming up as far as Hong Kong racing is concerned. We've got a Sunday fixture at Sha Tin this weekend, back to Happy Valley on Wednesday, and Sha Tin on the 11th of March. That's a Saturday meeting. And, of course, following that, the 19th of March, the date for your diary is at the BMW Hong Kong Derby. That just about brings this week's show to a close, and we're going to leave you with a Derby classic replay, of course. John Size looks to have a good chance this year of winning a 4th. He won it with Ping Hai Star a few years ago. Enjoy this. Many thanks for watching, and we look forward to your company again very soon. Goodbye.
Exultant starts to head to the outside. Ping Hai Star's going to get onto his back. Savvy 6 is one of the last. The Golden Age brings them into the home stretch. Legs pounding like pistons. Moved a length clear. Ribbon into the clear from Rocketeer Lockheed. Nothing I like more. Singapore Sling descending down the middle. Exultant's to the widest part of the track. The Golden Age keeps finding. Ribbons within a half. Singapore Sling winding up. Here's Ping Hai Star emerging. Ping Hai Star racing up to Singapore Sling. They got to the Golden Age. Ping Hai Star tearing away with the Derby. John Size produces a masterpiece with Ping Hai Star.